Good morning. Saturday, August 20th, 2016. Back down in Manotick at the War Memorial. I'm here for day 3 of the 22 push-up challenge to bring awareness to the suicide of veterans and first responders. Down at the War Memorial again in Manotick, and I'm here for a friend. I'll tell you a bit about my friend Brian Bishop. You can see Brian right here. He's standing on the right. This is taken in the spring of 2011 at Kandahar airfield, Kandahar. Brian, I've just shamed him into buying me a cup of coffee at Timmy's, and he's in delivering, and it's me on the left, and Captain Scott Wilder is photobombing in the middle back there. This is in the office of the task force headquarters where I worked. I want to tell you a bit about my friend Brian. Brian was a proud native of Nanaimo, BC, an exceptionally talented carpenter. Brian was hired in the spring of 2009 by my company at the time, S&C Lavalin PAE, to work in the construction engineering field at Kandahar airfield, Afghanistan, or affectionately known as CAF. There's always something for carpenters to build, repair at CAF. New office built for a military unit, new roof for a headquarters building, always something. I picked Brian up at the TLS air terminal at CAF. In the afternoon, he arrived in the base in March 2009. He arrived alone a week or two after his training class. He had a few things to manage in Canada before he left. It was a little quiet that day. Taking CAF in for the first time often had that effect on people. It was hot, it was dirty, dusty. There were helicopters and fighter jets and transport aircraft and constant movement in the airfield that dominated the base. There were tanks and MRAPs and armored vehicles, jingle trucks and bongos, thousands of soldiers, airmen and Marines, all armed, walking about, heading out to patrol in the desert, coming back from a mission. A lot to take in. Brian didn't talk much that day, and he never stopped talking after that. His personality, his optimism, his laugh, and his humanity filled any room, any space he was in. He was a constant tease and a pain in the ass, and we loved him like a brother. He worked tremendously hard. Rallied his team when times were low, spoke always of his beloved British Columbia and his dear Nana back home. His grandfather was a combat vet from World War II who fought through France and Holland and spoke to Brian of his time over there. Brian's motivation for coming to CAF was, in large measure, to honor his grandfather and to honor our country, Canada. Working in CAF for the Canadian Army was a privilege that Brian cherished. He stayed in Afghanistan for 2.5 years. For 1 year, he led a team of CanCap tradesmen and women working at Camp Nathan Smith on the edge of Kandahar City. He had to make the 15-mile trek there often, sometimes by helicopter, sometimes by armored vehicle, along a dangerous piece of highway where the Canadians and other allies lost a lot of troops to IEDs. Brian was never injured or hurt in these travels, but it was an intense environment and it had an effect on him. He was probably concerned more about the safety of the team he led than he was for his own safety. He didn't talk much about it. Brian was in Kandahar for the last Remembrance Day ceremonies on November 11, 2011, held in a large maintenance facility. He and another carpenter, CanCap carpenter Rob Rock, built the cenotaph that we all paid our respects to, the 158 Canadian soldiers and 3 civilians who died in Afghanistan between 2011 and 2014. I'm just going to show you. This is the cenotaph that Brian and Rob built. Tremendously impressive facility, carefully built, and hundreds of us gathered in front of it that morning. Brian was one of the last Canadians to leave CAF, and I drove him to the airport on November 28th. I brought him in, and I brought him out. He returned to Canada as a troubled soul. This amazing man, gifted artist, talented musician, who loved life so intensely, loved his family and his friends with equal passion, but he had trouble transitioning back. He called me and many other old CanCap friends in the middle of the night to talk about the good times and talk a bit about the bad. He called me the last time in late February 2013. He wasn't in a good place. We lost Brian on March 7th, 2013. He suffered from PTSD and he could not find peace. His death was incomprehensible, and it pains us all to know that he suffered mostly in silence. We all lost when we lost Brian. I remember Brian as I participate in this challenge. I wish we could have found the help he needed to have peace. I wish he was with us now. Captain Fantastic, Bish, we miss you, brother. Rest in peace.